For tens of millions of years, snakes have lived on this entire planet way many years before we have ever existed. But there was one species, everybody, that ruled them all, and it is absolutely an amazing story of discovery that this species was discovered. Unfortunately, it's not alive, but it's certainly a good story to tell. So stick around, everybody. This is the story of how Titanoboa was discovered. The discovery of Titanoboa goes as far early as back as 2002, when a couple of students from the University of Florida and from the Smithsonian Institution actually did an expedition down at some coal mines in Colombia of South America, where they accidentally discovered some fossils actually beneath the soil. And originally, at first, they didn't know exactly what kind they were. When they were brought back to the University of Florida for further examination, it was realized that these fossils actually belonged to obviously some kind of snake. At the time, though, these paleontologists, these weren't paleontologists that actually discovered them, they were expeditioners, but when they actually brought in paleontologists to examine those vertebrates, it was confirmed that these were not croc vertebrates, these were actually vertebrates from a very large prehistoric looking snake. And this was obviously a big discovery when these fossils were dug up. And the expedition they did another expedition a couple years later back down into these mines in Colombia, South America, where they actually raveled up a total of around 180 other fossil vertebrates of the snake alone, which is absolutely mind-blowing to find that many fossils of a prehistoric snake in one area. So it makes you wonder, at the time of the expedition, many people were wondering, how big was this snake? Because at the time, they didn't have a lot of answers. They only had a little information of, obviously, of what kind of animal it was, but who knows how long ago this animal went extinct. And this was just such a huge discovery that they actually found. Several years later, then, another expedition was done here in these coal mines, where they actually uncovered not only a few pieces of skull fragments of the fossilized snake. And this was a huge discovery that only a few paleontologists have been able to dig up from fossilized snakes. And this was absolutely mind-blowing. So they actually did a lot of homework on studying on these bone fragments, and really a lot of people wonder, what did this animal eat and how big did it get? So eventually, they actually started filming a documentary by the Smithsonian, and you guys can actually find it on YouTube as well. I'll see if I can find the video. I'll leave it in the description for you guys to check it out. So with that, it's just absolutely amazing. Judging by the size of these vertebrates here, especially at the large smack center of the backbone, many paleontologists believe that the snake may have ranged from lengths between 40 to maybe close to about 48 feet long, and the weight of this animal might have been around at least 2,000 pounds. So this is a huge snake we're talking about. We're not talking about like a Burmese python or a green anaconda. We're talking about something double the size of that. And this is just, oh man, it was just absolutely amazing. If you guys haven't seen the documentary, I highly recommend it, because it is just absolutely fascinating to seeing these expeditioners share their journey of discovering the fossils of this animal. And eventually, a replica model actually was made of the snake, what it may have looked like. And it was on display at the Smithsonian Museum for a few years. I actually don't know what happened to it. I guess maybe it got decommissioned, or maybe somebody bought it and now has it in like a personal collective item. I don't know. The Titanoboa, which is the snake's official name, is still the largest fossilized snake in the record books to date. A lot of herpetologists and paleontologists studied for months figuring out what this animal probably preyed on. Originally, it was a thought that the snake may have preyed on prehistoric crocodiles at its time. However, though, apparently, after further examination of the snake's skull bones, hold on, let me replay that back, everybody. It was actually shortly after the documentary was released, actually, one of the paleontologists discovered on the skull's anatomy. Apparently, the snake actually, judging by the teeth structure, it actually was piscivorous, something like that. I forgot what that word is, but in what it really means in English, it means it's a fish eater. So basically, the Titanoboa, unlike modern day anacondas, its main diet mostly was a fish eater. So it would make sense, because apparently there have been some fossilized large fish have been found in that area, particularly one of them called the lungfish, which I've never heard of before. I'm not exactly a full-time fish expert, but that's not the point. that is probably makes a lot of sense. Because when we see modern-day crocodiles, we rarely ever see large constrictors prey on them. Only one of the few species of snakes that can prey on a modern-day crocodile is mostly a green anaconda. But that being said, there are a few other snakes that have been documented doing the same thing though, like Burmese pythons, for example, which are a huge invasive species in the Florida Everglades. They have been documented several times actually trying to attempt to kill and eat an American alligator. Very, very interesting that the Titanoboa, I guess, really sure loved seafood. When the expeditioners returned actually to the mines in 2011, not only did they discover more Titanoboa vertebrates, but they also happened to discover some turtle shell vertebrates too in the mines that were literally the shells to get the whole shell. It was literally the size of pool tables. Really awesome. And to think that not only were there giant snakes or crocodiles, but there were also giant turtles as well that, some of us didn't even know that existed at this time. So to think that we have modern day turtles that live all around us in whether it's our rivers or ponds or lakes, just imagine how big those turtles were millions of years ago when these fossils were dug up. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. So not only are a lot of people don't realize that snakes, turtles, and crocodilians are literally modern dinosaurs today, that they have been around this planet for tens of millions of years, and we're looking at, we have dug up some of their ancestors that were alive tens of millions of years earlier. It's amazing. Just comparing their ancestors to the modern ones is just absolutely, I don't know, it's just something truly a historic discovery for the paleontology group. It's just mind-blowing. Oh, I can't stress it enough, everyone. If you guys haven't seen that documentary, I'm gonna try and leave a link in the description below. It's absolutely awesome to watch, and you guys will, some of you guys that love fossils or reptiles, you will love this documentary. I promise you that. Now listen, it has been over 60 million years since Titanoboa went extinct, but is there a slight little chance that there could be a giant snake out there somewhere in the world? It's possible. I mean, literally, there's still a lot more places that we haven't explored yet here on our world, and you can't just rule out that quite possibility. So for now, it's like one of those big unsolved mysteries, you know, in like the cryptozoology world. Could there be a giant prehistoric snake still alive? No one has the exact answer, but with that, you can't say zero, because it's still possible. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and just conclude this video, everybody. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Did you guys actually see the documentary? If you did, let me know how you guys felt about it in the comments down below. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. I'll see you guys in the next one.